he's like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television, and he's like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help, water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television, and he's like, only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. 8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives, so these Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company.
Bottom line, the American dream, the great American dream versus being a socialist hellhole. Bottom line, the American dream, the great American dream versus being a socialist hellhole.
No good. No good. Not good. Believe me, not good. No good. Really bad for you. So stupid. So stupid. Thank you. Thank you. Antifa exists. Antifa exists. Antifa exists. Antifa exists. Antifa exists. Dumb people, liberal people. You're dying. That's true. And it is what it is.
He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes. And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Hello? Is this thing on? Holy mackerel. Alright, so, hello users, and welcome to another episode of Above It All. This is episode 100, rather, this is episode 1013 for November 7th, 2020. I haven't slept in about 20 hours, maybe closer to 21. My sleep schedule has been pretty horrendous. For the last few days, I've been trying to reset my sleep schedule by like sleeping 6 hours and then like, you know, pulling it back. And then I decided it's a lost cause. It ain't coming back. So I decided to, I don't know, I'll stay up as long as I can. If I can make it to 5 p.m., that would be pretty good. But as of right now, it's 10 a.m. and I'm pretty fucking tired. I just gulped down some coffee. So, we'll see how this powers me through this episode. But again, this is Above It All, and I know that there's a lot of other things I could be talking about than the presidential election. I know, but this is really fun, so let me have it. So today's title is called Donald Trump's Soul-Crushing Reality Looms. And the reason for that is because, now, the race hasn't technically been called yet. However, given the fact that the mail-in ballots are indeed and in fact so devastating in their percentage, it seems that Pennsylvania is going to go for Joe And it seems that Georgia is going to go for Joe. It seems that Arizona is going to go for Joe. That one, I'm not actually 100% on that one. Nevada's probably going to go for Joe as well. All Joe needs is Pennsylvania, right? But if he gets, a couple of other one of these, right? There you go. Now, North Carolina, I don't know what's going on with North Carolina. What happened to North Carolina, Kuruke? I don't fucking know. My home state did not represent. And to be honest, I'm extremely upset. I'm more upset about the Senate race. I don't really give a shit about the presidential. It's not necessary at this point. But the Senate race was crucial. But yeah, again, I'm low energy today. So, again, I haven't slept in a while. I'm low energy.
Get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Thank you. So anyway, I've got like a series of just like today's episode. I've just got like a series of fun little articles to talk about on the subject of the president just kind of being generally an unstable person. Just not being that bright of a person, just not being all there. So, let's get right into that, right? Shall we just get right into that? Really? I think we should just get right into this. So, that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so, after the election, AOC... This is actually yesterday. My understanding of time, this happened when I just woke up. But AOC came out with a fearsome condemnation of the Lincoln Project. So I'm just going to read this to you. So AOC quote tweeted Benjamin Dixon, who said, "The Lincoln Project got $67 million to do literally nothing. And the black organizers that helped Biden win probably are short on their rent this month." Which is a very good point. And the reason why this is such a funny thing, and I want to talk about this, is because the Lincoln Project was really annoying, giant fail, absolute disaster, and liberals were shoving this shit down our throats for the last year or so. So seeing AOC just go out there, signal boost Ben Dixon, which is cool, and then also just rip it apart is just really fun. So AOC says, "It's not too late for them to do the right thing. Lincoln Project should take the L for Lincoln, and publicly pledge to give a lot of their fundraising to the people who actually made a big difference. And if they spent it all in parents, yikes, then they should consider using their fundraising juggernaut to get resources to those orgs." So again, a lot of people had a bunch of meltdowns at this. And I just thought that that's brilliant. I guess I'll just read the rest of this. There's potential incentive because Project Lincoln is deaf in scam territory with these results. It's scam territory. I love it. It's a pretty bad rep, even though GOP has a thing for failing up. Come clean. Say, listen, we thought it'd work. It didn't. And in good faith, we're going to raise X million dollars for these people who deserve it. And for folks who think it persuaded Republicans, I'd be interested to see data on how effective their videos and NYC billboards were at persuasion, especially data that justifies $67 million. Oh my God. But again, I just think that AOC going after the Lincoln Project is really, really funny. These people, they're just, this is like a thing that's like, I think one of the massive disasters of this election season. When it comes to down ballot races, I think the idea that the entire strategy for Joe Biden was saying, hey, it's okay when Republicans vote for you. It's okay. You can vote for me if you're a Republican. I'm cool. That being the entire strategy of the Biden campaign, yeah, a lot of Republicans voted for him, but you know who they didn't vote for? Anyone else at the, on the rest of the ballot. So the idea of the Lincoln Project saying, yeah, don't worry, you can vote for him. We're Republicans. You're a Republican. It's all good. But the entire campaign was about how Trump is bad. Yeah, Trump is bad. But it's not just about Trump. It's about the entire Republican Party. So saying, hey, Republicans, vote for Joe Biden doesn't really mean much. In a year of historic turnout in this election, we may have accidentally activated more Republicans. Look at the devastating percentage going on in down ballot races. So, the Lincoln Project may have done more harm than good, but let's be honest, that was part of the plan the whole time. So, what are you going to do, right? Oops, fell for that one. Ruh-roh. Hello, Rail Jordan. Mexico Reef, are you really an anarchist? You sure defend the Democrats, who are notorious criminals. When do I defend the Democrats, dude? What? Talking about AOC making a funny tweet is not defending the Democrats? Come on, man. You're running in this chat room talking about how COVID is a hoax, and you're going to question my political identity? Okay, buddy. Have fun with that. Have fun with that. And I really hate to say this, but
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ
would ever possibly come into my chat room and say the things that you're saying, Mexico Rifa. So I really hope it's a bit, because if it's not, that's problematic. I got your name right. Awesome. Thank you. I forgot how I pronounced it, so I'm not going to pronounce it again. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Again, I've been up for about 21 hours, so I'm a little low energy, and my memory is not as good as it was 19 hours ago. But I got it. Let's go. Okay, so I've got a few more articles here that are just kind of about the downfall of Donald Trump over the course of this election. And again, it's just really fun to watch. So here's an article on HuffPost. Ilhan Omar on Trump's bid to flip Minnesota. He effed around and found out. Now, again, I just want to say, Ilhan Omar, easily the best member of the Democrat Party, easily one of the only few very good politicians that we've got. I love that. Again, if for those of you that are uninitiated, fuck around and find out was a common, like, you know, not, I wouldn't even say far left, but like left, and then most particularly anti-establishment oriented Bernie people who are not on board. There's a lot of them that are not on board with voting for Biden, and their kind of whole thing was, you know, if you don't have Bernie, you're probably going to lose. And if you look at the results of this presidential election, they almost did lose, right? So, like, oops. But Ilhan Omar, what she decided to do was, instead of, you know, canvassing and doing all this for Biden, right? Like, what? Who's going to do that shit for Biden? She did it for herself in her own district. She mobilized her own community to run a very, very, very splendid get out the vote campaign in her district that helped get a lot of votes that distanced Minnesota away from Trump being able to even remotely come close to flipping it. But what's even funnier is Donald Trump thinking he could flip Minnesota, right? So let's read this article from HuffPost. President Donald Trump, who routinely insulted Rep. Ilhan Omar on the campaign trail, was convinced he'd flip Minnesota in the 2020 election. He didn't. Now, again, today's episode, I want to talk about the delusions of Donald Trump. Donald Trump was living, and his supporters were living in another world. They were living in an alternative reality, and this alternative reality is shattering. Again, I want to read this again. He was convinced he'd flip Minnesota in the 2020 election. He didn't. He, quote, effed around and found out, unquote, Omar said Friday about Trump. Omar discussed the president's bid to win the state and his attacks against her with The Intercept's Washington bureau chief Ryan Grimm on the podcast Deconstructed. At a rally last year, Trump called Omar a fraud and a disgrace to our country. He has often unleashed xenophobic attacks against Omar, who was born in Somalia and whose family lived in a refugee camp in Kenya before moving to America when she was a child. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden won Minnesota with 52.6% of the vote, although the national result was not final as of of Friday night. Minnesota hadn't voted Republican in a presidential race since Richard Nixon's re-election in 1972. Still, Trump treated the state where he narrowly lost in 2016 as a potential battleground and campaigned heavily there. Omar, who won the Democratic primary for Minnesota's 5th District in August, campaigned and organized for Biden in her district and state leading up to the election. And this is, again, the common theme. You see this in Michigan with Rashida Tlaib, who did the same thing. You see this in Georgia, right, and you see this in Pennsylvania with Philadelphia and stuff, right? You see these heavily, populated urban cities outvoting the rest of the rural parts of the state. If you can get an extra 50%, of the votes that you got last cycle in this city, typically will vote 90% in one direction, that's an easy recipe. All of a sudden, you flip fucking Michigan, you flip Georgia, right? This is a winning strategy. You get what you organized for, Omar said on Deconstructed. The progressive congresswoman who handily won her re-election to Congress in the general election said during the podcast interview that her team had shifted its focus to getting Biden elected after her primary win. Rep. AOC joined a chorus of voices on Twitter. What am I, 90 years old? On Twitter, praising Omar for her organizing work for Biden and Democratic vice presidential blah, blah, blah. I hate all these words that they use. But anyway, again, good stuff. Donald Trump thought he could win Minnesota. Oops. How did that turn out? But again, I've got a bunch of stories today that talk about many, many oopsies that Donald Trump made in this 2020 election. And I'm glad that we can finally talk about this in a retrospect. So, goddamn. Look, Quincy Smith. Fascism isn't worse than what Biden and China has planned. Fascism isn't worse than what Biden and China... What? What's worse? Communism or fascism? Both are what the U.S. is heading towards with Biden and Trump. What? Come on, Quincy. Come on. I haven't slept in 21 hours, right? I'm seeing things, right? I'm tired, I'm low energy. I'm not all there. But come on, man. Even I know that that's batshit crazy what you're spewing. Biden's a communist. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's be real here. Let's be real. So, with Donald Trump's 2020 re-election chances in shambles, with his entire voter base trying their hardest to find any news story they can to cope with the fact that their president and their entire alternative reality that they were living in is shattering in real time, what are they planning on doing? Oh, I know, hitting the streets. Now, this is something that us lefties, and especially me, I've been on this beat for a couple months. I've been very worried about this. The idea that right-wing groups are going to go to the polls to try to modify election results or stop counting or whatever. But Donald Trump bungled it. He bungled it. He made a massive failure. Now, Donald Trump's supporters, they're dullards, right? These guys are the bottom of the barrel dumpster sludge. All right, these guys are real dullards. They're not bright. They can't think on their own. So all Donald Trump needed to do was pose a coherent strategy to trying to say, yes, this election is fake, and here's why. But instead, what we got was this. So here's a video from the recount. I've got a Twitter thread that kind of gives some more information. But this is a video of two pro-Trump protests, one in Maricopa County, Arizona, and they want the votes to continue being counted there because they believe Trump has a devastating percentage in the mail-in ballots. And then also, side by side, with Detroit, Michigan, where they want to stop the counting because Joe Biden was declared the victor as the vote gap reached 100,000. So there's a 13-second clip, but listen. These are the same people working for the same guy saying the exact opposite things. It really cuts against the narrative. It's hard for Fox News to take you seriously when this is your best bet. Donald Trump, you had 4 years to prepare what you were going to do on election night. and you bungled it? Come on, man. You can hear count the votes and stop the vote from the same people. Again, the mainstream media, they're jumping ship. And I'm going to be honest, I did not see this coming. And I think Trump's extreme failure to capitalize on the election night, he declared victory at the wrong time. He declared victory in the wrong way. His failure to do so properly cost him the election. If he were to do so in a slightly more skilled manner, I think the media would have ran along with it. But instead, he bungled it. And now, even Fox News called the race for Biden. It's over. Trump is gone. His supporters, they're not going anywhere. They're going to stay. And we're going to have to do something. And we'll talk about that for a couple years probably of what we do with these Trump people. We need to figure out something, and we need to figure out something quickly. But either way, stop the vote, count the vote. What? So again, this was in a Twitter thread, and I'm just going to read a few of these tweets. I was at the TCF Center in Detroit yesterday as a nonpartisan poll challenger. The woman in the maroon shirt with the black mask was one of the GOP challengers I monitored. At one point, she yelled that a ballot needed to be thrown out because it looked sticky. What? Another time, she demanded that the poll workers stop what they were doing and back up all the computers in case of a power outage or tornado. Just baseless, bad faith challenges to slow the process. And after Trump filed his lawsuit and Michigan was called for Biden, the GOP strategy shifted to challenge every single ballot. I know this because I overheard their organizers pass on the new message. They didn't even pretend to have a reason for doing so, just repeated, I challenge this ballot, I challenge that ballot, over and over and over again as the poll workers tried to count. Again, you can read the rest of this yourself. I'll link it in the description. But again, Donald Trump doesn't have a clear message. He had 4 years to figure out how to fucking navigate through election night, and he bungled it. That alone, if you're still simping for Donald Trump after this monumental disaster, this huge error in judgment, come on, man. The guy's a buffoon. He's a clown. He's incompetent. And he lost. And he had a clear way of cheating his way to a second term. And he couldn't even do that right. That's funny. That's funny. But again, this is Donald Trump. This is Donald Trump.
So stupid. So stupid. Thank you. Thank you.
God damn it. Imagine losing a general election to Joe Biden. Can you imagine that? Again, I would like to say this, but my podcast, the audio version, is on anchor.fm/aboveitall. You can access the audio version of this podcast. I usually try to post it right after the YouTube live stream. So, I'm back to streaming at 10 a.m. So, expect the audio podcast to be up on Anchor at maybe 11:30, assuming my stream is around, an hour, which is the typical length. So, we can expect it by noon, 11:30 maybe, to be in the Anchor feeds, and that's on Spotify, that's on all that crap. So definitely go check that out if you want to listen to this in audio form. And if you don't, then that's also okay. But you should still listen to it so I get the boosting in ratings and give me the 5 stars. By the way, like this video on YouTube. I'm looking at the YouTube analytics right now, right? Concurrent viewers, 37. Likes, 8. What? 37 viewers and 8 likes? Hello? Hello? Did I do something wrong? Do I smell bad? Like, what's going on here? Come on, man. Seriously, this is ridiculous. This is almost as pathetic as Donald Trump's election night. Come on, man. So, on the subject of the cope, here's Laura Ingraham talking about... Now, again, this is just a hypothetical scenario, but imagine Donald Trump loses the election. I know. Impossible, right? But Laura Ingraham's going to walk us through just the idea that this might be a thing that could occur.
Thank goodness. Third, if and when it's time to accept an unfavorable outcome in this election, and we hope it never comes, but if and when that does happen, President Trump needs to do it with the same grace and composure he demonstrated at that town hall with Savannah Guthrie. So many people remarked about his tone and presence. Exactly what he needs.
This tone in this presence?
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
You're not like...
Okay. All right. He totally handled that with grace.
Exactly what he needs. Now, losing, especially when you believe the process wasn't fair, it's a gut punch. And I'm not conceding anything tonight, by the way. But losing, if that's what happens, it's awful. But President Trump's legacy will only become more significant if he focuses on moving the country forward. And then the love and respect his supporters feel for him, it's only going to grow stronger. And his legacy, more historically significant. The media knows he'll be a GOP kingmaker for 2022 and 2024, no doubt. They know he's a political hero to tens of millions of Americans.
This sounds like a eulogy. Laura Ingraham is literally delivering a eulogy. Like, legit, if Donald Trump hit the ground screaming, right, she would have been saying the same fucking shit. If Donald Trump got up there at 2 a.m., the night after the election, right, you know, the morning of the next day after the election, and just was like this, if he just got onto the podium and was like...
He's like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help.
Like, if he just got up there and then just hit the ground screaming, this is something that Laura Ingraham would say. But, newsflash, Laura, Donald Trump is still alive. In his world and in your world, you said yourself you're not conceding. In this world that you're living in, he's getting cheated and he won. So why are you eulogizing the president if you think that he got cheated and he has a rightful place on the presidency? If you genuinely think that Donald Trump got cheated and he deserves the second term, if you genuinely believe that, you wouldn't be eulogizing his campaign. You would be energizing your base to stop the vote or count the vote, whichever one, depending on where they live. Your mileage may vary. But instead, she's going up there, delivering very nice remarks at the Trump 2020 campaign, the funeral for the Trump 2020 campaign. It's just really funny. Again, this is what's happening. I want this to be known. This is the theme of today's episode. Donald Trump's soul-crushing reality looms. The race hasn't technically been called. There's still a chance, right? Trump still has a path to victory, right? What are you going to do?
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ
would think that Donald Trump was cheated in the 2020 election. Let me just tell you. Believe me. Whew! Dude, I just want to say again, thank you for watching this episode. I'm a little low energy, but I think I'm doing a decent job. Again, I've been up for about 21 hours. My sleep schedule has been in shambles, just like Donald Trump's week. My sleep schedule has been in shambles over this week, and I'm trying to even it out. I realized I couldn't pull it back, so I had to push it back, and that involves staying up for 24 hours. So That's what I'm doing. So again, I think I'm doing a pretty good job, but I'm a little low energy, so I'm sorry. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So again, the theme today, like Donald Trump, is he losing? I started today's episode talking about how Donald Trump thought he could flip Minnesota. What? And then he's telling his supporters to protest, stop the count, or count the vote, or whatever. What? Now Laura Ingram's eulogizing the president's campaign on Fox News. All right, what's the next part of this puzzle? What's the next sequence? Well, I've got an article on Vanity Fair that I thought was hilarious. So let's read. It sure sounds like Trump may barricade himself in the Oval Office and refuse to come out if Biden wins. This is by Bess Levin, November 7th, 2020. So let's read. Again, this is from the Vanity Fair. By now, you've likely heard that after pulling ahead in Georgia, most crucially, Pennsylvania, Joe Biden will very likely be the next president of the United States. As you've probably also heard, Donald Trump is taking it as well as everyone had a ranting and raving. Remember when Donald Trump was on a debate? I'm not ranting and raving. I'm not ranting and raving. I gotta get that clip for the fucking intro outro. I'm not ranting and raving. It's not me. I'm not ranting and raving. That was so good. Was that in a debate or was that after he got the presidency? I don't remember, to be honest, but it was a while ago. Ranting and raving about all kinds of made-up fraud, demanding counts be stopped in one state and continued in others, filing numerous lawsuits that stand little chance of holding up in court because they have no merit. Parents, and in some cases, have led judges to believe the lawyers attached to them have recently suffered traumatic brain injuries. At this point, a quasi-reasonable person might say to himself, okay, I'm going to cut my losses, salvage my last atom of dignity, and admit defeat. But obviously, Donald Trump is not reasonable, and he has no dignity, so instead, he's decided he'll keep fighting this thing, well beyond the point that it's hugely embarrassing to do so, and even after that fails, refuse to acknowledge that he lost and that Joe Biden is going to be president. I love the writing here. The writing is just brilliant. Yes, like George Costanza deciding to just go back in the office on Monday as if he didn't quit on Friday before, Trump apparently thinks he can just go on being president, even if the American people have fired him. According to CNN, Trump reportedly has not prepared a concession speech, and in conversations with allies in recent days, has said he has no intention of conceding the election. Just didn't even think about it. I don't have a speech planned. That's not gonna happen. No contingencies. It'll never happen. It's a long shot, right? The decision to go full delusional has obviously been strengthened by staffers, such as Mark Meadows, who have not attempted to come to terms with the president about the reality of what is happening, and have instead fed into his claims of fraud. Vice President Mike Pence, who's been soliciting money for a legal defense fund, and his adult children, who've been spouting absurd conspiracy theories on Twitter as they watch the ultimate opportunity for nepotism slip away. I love it. While Trump has apparently admitted to some people that he knows the electoral math has no chance of working out in his favor, he has maintained that a prolonged court battle and corrosive rhetoric about election fraud would sow enough doubt to allow him to refuse to accept the results. He actually thinks this. And while the majority of the president's inner circle is far more happy to go along with this sad alternative reality, a few members have reportedly grown worried that eventually someone will have to sit Trump down and explain that little Donnie is not going to be president anymore. And at this point, it seems unlikely anyone will be able to get through to him short of slapping him across the face and screaming, "You lost it! It's over!" Again, I love the wording here. It's written really funnily. And that's the thing about writing. If it's funny, it's fun to read. It goes through just like that. Keeps you entertained. And what could possibly be more fun than laughing at the president? Yes, this is an actual thing allies of the president of the United States are actually grappling with. It is a possibility The president did not consider in a serious way during the election, despite polls showing him with only a narrow path to victory, believing that looking past the election was bad luck. The delicate matter of a loss and potentially post-presidential life was not discussed widely among his team and was not raised often with the president, who believed adamantly he would win. Now people around Trump are working to identify who might be able to communicate to him the stark reality. There's been talk of potentially Jared Kushner or Ivanka Trump, though their willingness to lead a difficult intervention wasn't clear. Now again, you can read the rest of this if you'd like, but Donald Trump is not leaving. Actually, I do want to read the Joe Biden's team's response. Where was that? Here it is, I think. Hold up. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm low energy. It was here. I don't feel like reading the full article, but the Joe Biden campaign had a funny response, and it's in one of these quotes. Yes. I can't find it. I can't skim. Read the article. It was funny. Anyway. Oh, here it is. I just scrolled on it. Okay, on Friday, I'm so sorry. I'm low energy. Please forgive me. On Friday, Biden campaign spokesman Andrew Bates said that the former vice president's staff wasn't worried about Trump refusing to leave the White House. Not because they don't believe he's certifiably insane and might definitely barricade himself in the Oval Office, but because security will simply escort him from the premises. Quote, "The United States government is perfectly capable of escorting trespassers out of the White House," he said. I thought that was funny. But again, Donald Trump is not taking this so well. Again, the alternative reality that he's lived in for the last 4 years, that his supporters, 70 million voters, have lived in, poof, goodbye. All they've got left are stop the count or count the stop or something like that. I don't know. But certainly is funny. So that's what we're here for, right? Whew! Again, I'm sorry I'm so low energy. But that's just the nature of today's episode. Woof. Hashtag not my president. Damn fucking right. I hope there's footage of Donald Trump getting dragged out of the White House. Sir, please, sir. The mail-in ballots, sir. They were, in fact, devastating in their percentage, sir. Please come with us, sir. Mr. Trump, don't call me Mr. Trump. I'm Mr. President to you. Mr. Trump, sir. Mr. Trump, I am not Mr. Trump. I'm Mr. President. Sir, the ballots, sir. They were devastating in their percentage, sir. Please come with us. No. The ballots. The ballots. The ballots. They're so devastating in their percentage. I really can't believe that, I can't believe the President of the United States tweeted out that the mail-in ballots are devastating in their percentage. Fucking devastating in their percentage. Oh god, that's funny. They're devastating, and the English language has never been used in a more perfect way. So beautiful. Alright, y'all. So again, today's theme has been watching Donald Trump supporters collapse in real time, protesting in one state, stop the vote, protesting in another state, continue the vote, protesting in another state, only count those votes. In one state, they're saying that ballot's sticky. They're not having a good time. Donald Trump's messaging has been abysmal. He's failed, right? Laura Ingraham is on Fox News eulogizing his campaign. It's over. It's over? But does that mean it's over forever? No, because here's an article from Fox 13. If Donald Trump loses 2020 election, can he run again in 2024? I don't know. Let's read. Los Angeles. If Donald Trump loses his re-election bid against Democratic rival Joe Biden in the 2020 election, it does not necessarily mean the end of the 45th president's political aspirations. If Trump loses, according to the U.S. Constitution, he would be able to seek election again in 2024. This 22nd Amendment states no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, but there is no limit on how many times a candidate can run, and there wouldn't be anything legally stopping Trump from attempting to come back if he should lose this year. Now again, my personal favorite strategy is Donald Trump will run for the House or the Senate just to get in there. Imagine Donald Trump, right, talking to like Mark Zuckerberg at a tech committee hearing or something. Like, imagine that, right? And then he talks about how the mail-in ballots were devastating in their percentage and how, you know, the fake news media and stuff like that. Now imagine, that would be funny. And then he runs in 2024. That would be absolutely hilarious. That's my personal bingo. Trump most certainly would not be the first president to pursue such aspirations. Grover Cleveland became president in 1884, lost his re-election bid against Benjamin Harrison in 1888, then won again in 1892, defeating Harrison, the incumbent president. Brian Lanza, a former Trump advisor, spoke on BBC Radio 4 program, saying he thinks Trump would be in a good position 4 years from now, The Independent reported. Biden will have the opportunity to guide this country out of COVID, and we'll see what his successes and failures are. And there's nobody in the Republican Party that can challenge President Trump in the primaries, and that's exactly it. Tom Cotton is already allegedly trying to lay groundwork for 2024, right? You have Tucker Carlson may be running. Mike Pence may be running. Hell, I thought Donald Trump Jr. might run. But no, what if Donald Trump Sr. comes back in and says, no, let me run again? And he's got 90% of approval rating in the Republican Party. It could cause a divide, it could cause a shift, and it could cause a landslide loss in the next few elections. If Donald Trump decides to try to keep the control of the Republican Party, please praise God that his narcissism takes over. The Republican Party is just one step closer to total annihilation. Please, Trump, please run again. Trump 2024, baby. Let's do it. Even Trump's former chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, thinks Trump could have another shot at the White House in the wake of a potential 2020 loss. I would absolutely expect the president to stay involved in politics and would absolutely put him on the short list of people who are likely to run in 2024. Mulvaney, who also served as Trump's director of the Office Management and Budget before taking on his current role in the U.S. Special Envoy for Northern Ireland, noted that the president did not like losing and would be as old as Democratic nominee Joe Biden is now should he run again in 4 years. So again, Laura Ingram's going on Fox Cable News saying, I'm not conceding the race, but let's just hypothesize what would happen if Trump lost. And now you see articles on Fox. Well, if Donald Trump does lose, don't worry, he can come back. Again, every single day that goes by, the cope gets harder and harder and harder to believe. All of a sudden, the mail-in ballots are devastating in their percentage. Couple days later, Georgia's a blue state. Couple days later, well, what if he runs in 2024? What if? Goddamn, what if? This is going to be so fun to watch. The Republican, assuming this is the thing, is the Republicans are great entertainment when they're not killing us. That's why 2016's Republican primary was so funny. I remember, because that was my first election cycle, I watched every single debate. And it was because it was so funny. It was like, yeah, these guys, none of them are going to win, right? The Democrats going to win, duh. That's, what we thought at the time. And I was a political fledgling youth, not knowing much. So I was like, all right, these guys are nuts. No one would ever vote for them, especially not Donald Trump, right? It's just funny. It's hilarious. These people are crazy, right? And next thing you know, 4 years later, oops. I really got to get that sound drop for oops, uh-oh from Eminem Shell Shocked. God, I need to get that. Fuck. Mr. Freak, can you remind me of that? I don't know why North Carolina did not go for Biden. I'm sorry, bud. I did my best. I really don't. Whew. But again, I've got one more thing to talk about today. So Donald Trump, what is he going to do? Is he going to barricade himself in the White House, in the Oval Office? Is he going to try to get the military to back up a coup? Is he going to go to the courts? And the courts are going to be like, yeah, I know, you gave us lifetime appointments, and we totally don't need to risk the power of the entire judicial branch to save your bitch ass? Like, that's the thing, is like, Trump gave these judges lifetime appointments. Why would they protect Trump? If they protect Trump, all it does is undermine the legitimacy of the judicial branch and make it more likely that a Biden administration, or if Democrats take the Senate in 2022 because they failed this time because Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are fucking awful, right? If they expand the court, it just makes them more likely to expand the courts. So I think that there's going to be a level, there's going to be a certain measure in how the judges are going to play this out. Coming here, I don't think they're going to do this. I really don't. Unless that they're confident that Trump is the guy, and Trump is melting down. Fox News is abandoning him, right? Like, everyone's abandoning him. So he's melting down. So if they thought, if Donald, and this all comes back down to, like, if Donald Trump had a good election night response, right? Things would be different. But is he going to run again in 2024? Who knows what he's going to do in the lame duck of his presidency? But I've got a Fun Hill article that speculates, well, here's something he could do. Pardon himself? Let's read. So, this is coming out of, who wrote this? This is by Jeffrey Crouch, opinion contributor. Okay, so, on July 22nd, 2017, President Trump tweeted that he had the complete power to pardon roughly a year later. He tweeted about his absolute right to pardon myself. In quotes. Should he lose his re-election bid to Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, Trump's campaign is currently challenging vote counts in several states. A lame duck Trump would be well positioned to finally put these beliefs into action by pardoning himself before leaving office on January 20th, 2021. How else is he going to run in 2024? He needs to pardon himself. That's the only way. Otherwise, that guy's going to jail. I got bad news for the Trumpers out there. This might be the only option. And if he does this, do you think he can have a popular front to win again? I don't know. As I'm reading this, 8 minutes ago, Donald Trump, I won this election by a lot. Would you mind linking? Well, actually, never mind. Anyway, let's read this. Why might Trump need to pardon himself? The Mueller investigation in parents, or as Trump would put it, the illegal Mueller witch hunt, unveiled several instances of possible obstruction of justice. These allegations, along with potential tax fraud and running afoul of campaign finance laws, are federal changes that Trump charges that Trump has avoided because he is the sitting president. They could return once a new administration takes over. At this point in his presidency, Trump has the most freedom he will ever enjoy to grant clemency to anyone he would like, including a bunch of buggers that I don't feel like reading the names of. So, may Trump self-pardon? Article 2 of the Constitution contains broad, virtually unlimited clemency language that allows for the president to forgive any federal crime. However, the Constitution is silent on the self-pardon question, and there is no example of an American president ever following through on a self-pardon attempt. The case for a self-pardon being constitutionally allowed rests heavily on the principle that the Constitution does not forbid the practice. Therefore, it should be permissible. Much of the case law on the president's pardon power upholds a broad clemency power and defers largely to the president's judgment. The arguments against the self-pardon include the view that the clemency power should be checked by other provisions of the Constitution, and that serving as a judge in one's own case is generally not recognized by American legal standards. Should Trump attempt to pardon himself, a Supreme Court case suggests that such a move is akin to admitting guilt. In other words, a self-pardon would ultimately be self-defeating, because it would supply the impetus needed by Congress to deploy the ultimate constitutional remedy for abuses of power, impeachment. Of course, Trump has already been impeached once. Would a Democratic House try to impeach him again if he ends up having to exit the White House early next year? Unlikely. Again, just turn the page. Who needs to hold this president accountable? Fuck it. Let's turn the page. Under these unique circumstances, then, impeachment would seem to be a clear, ineffective deterrent, and therefore a self-pardon might succeed. It is unclear who, if anyone, would have the necessary legal standing I'm so sorry, I haven't slept in nearly 24 hours. The necessary legal standing required to challenge a presidential self-pardon in court. And even if a challenge was successfully brought, the ultimate decision would likely rest with the United States Supreme Court. How many of its 6 Republican-appointed justices, including 3 nominated by Trump himself, would oppose a Republican president's self-pardon attempt? Unclear. A less controversial alternative to the self-pardon would be for Trump and Vice President Pence to use the 25th Amendment to achieve the result they want. Trump would temporarily step down from the presidency at some point before the official end of his term, leaving Pence to take over as acting chief executive. Acting President Pence would pardon Trump, who could then become president again or resign from office. If pressed by Trump, would Pence, who may hope to run for president himself at some point, agree to such an arrangement? Unknown. So again, this is fun. This is fun. I love this kind of speculation. Is Donald Trump going to barricade himself in the Oval Office? Oh. Is he going to run again in 2024? Oh. Is he going to pardon himself for the crimes that he is clearly guilty of that the Biden administration probably won't try to prosecute him on? I don't know. Stay tuned for next week's episode of whatever the fuck is going on, because hopefully next week is even more fun than this week. And judging by the trends, that's very likely. So, that's what I have to say about that. Again, see the humor in things. See the humor in things. That's my motto. So again, I'm a little low energy. Doing the show for an hour was a lot more difficult than I thought on 21 going on 22 hours of no sleep. So I'm going to peace out. Maybe he'll Bud Dwyer himself on the last day. Could you imagine? Could you imagine he just goes up on this?
And he's like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help.
And then he brings out a lunchbox with a water bottle attached, but instead of reaching for the water bottle, he opens up the lunchbox. And you know how that ends? Maybe, who knows? Help, help, I need water, help, I need water. Oh my God. But anyway, again, thank you for watching this program. You can listen to the audio version of this podcast on Anchor FM. It's also on Spotify. Just search for Above It All. And if it doesn't come up, you can probably search my name as well. Andrea Rovenski. That's how it's filtered on there, I noticed. So we'll see. But you can look that shit up, listen to it, audio. And if you don't like audio and you like video, and you're watching the video on YouTube, like the stream. I've only got 22 likes. Hello? You kidding me? Are you kidding me? Only 22 likes? Oh, now I've got 25. Okay. Alright, now I've got 25. Okay. You had to wait for me to call you out. That's like, oh, I'm not sorry that I didn't like the stream. I'm just sorry I got caught. That's what that is. I see you. I see you. I see you. If you don't like this broadcast, I'm banning you from all future broadcasts. But again, I've been up for 22 hours. Wait a second. Breaking scoop, according to the chat room. Hold up. I'm trying to turn the stream off, and we got a breaking scoop. Scoop me. Trump has traveled to his golf course in Virginia. That's a breaking scoop. I mean, I don't know. There's nothing else to do. He lost. Might as well go on vacation. Anyway, again, thank you for watching. I'm getting the fuck out of here. So, goodbye and good night or good morning or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Do you think I know anything? Hello? Hello? You're watching this and you're listening to and you think I know what I'm talking about? That's no good. No good. No good. Let me just tell you.
No good. No good.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television.
Bottom line, the American dream, the great American dream versus being a socialist hellhole.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Dumb people, liberal people can... Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
Antifa exists.
You're dying. That's true. And it is what it is.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Let me just tell you, I get along with everybody, which is my obligation to my company, to myself, etc. Obviously, the war in Iraq is a big, fat mistake, all right?
Well, it was an amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest. And I just spoke to my people.